Coming up next, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time from Las Vegas, Nevada. We are here at the Gold Coast Casino in the Frank Sinatra Suite. PWR headquarters for the week. Cauliflower Alley Club has been amazing. And David Hero is downstairs. We'll be providing updates all night from the floor of the convention with some surprise guests and a huge, historic, never-before-seen interview coming up tonight. But before that, let's go now to the floor with David Hero.
Hey, super friends, it's me, Dave Hero. I am here at the Cauliflower Alley in Las Vegas, and I'll be having reports throughout the night, and you never know who we're going to bump into.
Me, for one, but there's a whole lot of other people in here. Dave Hero, thank you. Let's sneak in this room. Holy balls! Can you believe that? Look at who's here. Larry the Axe Hennig, Lance Russell, the Glow Girls. Can I say that? Because I've said it. Anyway, come along. It's going to be a hell of a trip. That'll be $10.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. We are on location here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Damian Nelson coming to you here from our Frank Sinatra Suite at the Gold Coast Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, site of this year's Cauliflower Alley Club, the legendary convention being thrown and put on by the NWA, honoring all the greats in professional wrestling. And what a week it's been here at the Cauliflower Alley Club. And as I told you just a few moments ago, and as you saw just a few minutes ago with Mean Gene Okerlund, by the way, David Hero is down on the convention floor, and he'll be covering all of the activities at the Cauliflower Alley Club happening here in Las Vegas this week. And it's been an amazing week, folks, of legends, stories, shenanigans, and fun here at CAC Las Vegas. But of course, there is a lot also going on in the world of professional wrestling. So let's get right down to it with this week's big story. And of course, you can only look at the big goings-on both WWE Raw and SmackDown this week with all of the new talents, the new era, I guess you could call it, in World Wrestling Entertainment. Raw, once again, this past Monday night, led by Shane McMahon, who is in charge again of Raw, which is interesting because, of course, Shane lost the match at WrestleMania to The Undertaker, whereas if he would have won said match against The Undertaker, he would have gained control of Raw. Well, as you saw last week on Raw, Vince McMahon giving the reins to Shane McMahon for 1 week only, it seemed, but then again this week as well. WWE, of course, can say that it was the results, the ratings, the social media engagement, the interaction when Shane McMahon was in charge that kept him in charge of Raw. And the fresh face and the good guy authority figure is something that I really enjoy on Raw, and I think it helps. I think it helps in the dawn of that new era that I was talking about just a moment ago. Even so, on this past Monday night on Raw, you saw the debut of two long-awaited stars from New Japan Pro Wrestling and one formerly of WWE, you know, Festus for the rest of us. It was Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, both debuting and defeating and destroying the Usos this past Monday night on Raw. And what an arrival they made, being named, called out by name by the broadcast team, by the commentary team, and again destroying the Usos on a week where a tag team tournament for the number one contenders for New Day's Tag Team Championships were announced. I don't think that debut would have had as much impact if Shane McMahon were not the man running the show on Raw. And to the point of that debut, they absolutely destroyed in brutal fashion the Usos on Raw Monday night. Now, also, in addition to, well, let's stay on that for a minute, actually, because a lot of people now speculating that with AJ Styles, obviously, in WWE, and I was about to get to his big match on Monday night, with AJ Styles now in WWE, does this mean, along with all of the other speculation being fueled by Finn Balor of the Balor Club, is the Bullet Club officially going to be coming from New Japan Pro Wrestling to WWE? Gallows, Anderson, all part of that. AJ Styles, obviously, all part of that as well. A faction would not be a bad idea, and I don't think we've yet seen the full explanation of why Gallows and Anderson are there. And maybe that's what this upcoming Monday night is for. They were in a dark match on SmackDown, actually participating in in-ring competition. But this has a lot of good potential and a lot of solid intrigue and some great opportunity for, again, what I'm calling the new era in WWE. Now, another person who is ringing in that new era in WWE under the span of control of Shane McMahon is Sami Zayn, the man who I endorsed last Friday on Feedback Friday. Sami Zayn gets a chance against AJ Styles in a matchup on Raw. And if Sami Zayn were to have won that match, he would have gotten the opportunity to be the third man in the ring against Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at the next WWE pay-per-view event on the WWE Network. Well, Sami Zayn would fall short in what was an incredible match between he and AJ Styles on Raw. But look at what has happened on Raw over the course of the last couple of weeks. Look at what has happened on SmackDown over the course of the last couple of weeks. As on SmackDown this past Thursday, we saw Enzo and Cass get their first in-ring action as well. Some amazing new talents, new call-ups from NXT have really infused a bit of excitement into WWE. Now, a lot of people talk about the Raw after Mania and what we expect out of that show. And we saw a lot of these NXT call-ups, Apollo Crews, Enzo and Cash. We saw a lot happen on that Raw, but we didn't see that big return, that big shocking thing. And I think WWE is taking an interestingly unique and solid approach this time by focusing on the talents they've built and making them a thing, if you will, going forward to build to next year's WrestleMania as well. So we want to hear your thoughts, folks. Remember, you can interact with us on all of our social media channels. That's on Facebook, facebook.com/PWR Show, on Twitter @PWR Show, and also on Instagram, PWR Show on Instagram, as well as commenting here on YouTube on the shows. We didn't have an episode of Feedback Friday this past week or just yesterday, well, because quite frankly, we were busy at the Godfather's Cheetah Club in Las Vegas, Nevada. Special invite, by the way. That was fun. Won't be talking about the shenanigans that happened there here on air, but what we will be talking about here tonight as the show continues live from Las Vegas, David Hero's downstairs, and he's got some more conversations. And folks, the next time, from what I understand, David's trying to track down some Milwaukee wrestling legends here to appear on the broadcast tonight. And we're going to see that coming up if he is able to track them down. You won't believe the faces the names he's looking for downstairs. It's a who's who of professional wrestling here in Las Vegas. David's on the quest to find them at the Cauliflower Alley Club here at the Gold Coast Casino. And we're going to find out more about that and all the latest from TNA, NXT. We've got this week's hot news, the Event Center, and a big interview. Mean Gene Okerlund, who you saw at the top of the program, has informed us that he is going to sit down with and have his first ever sit-down interview with another wrestling broadcasting legend, Lance Russell. That's right, Mean Gene Okerlund, Lance Russell. 2 men, 1 show, right here only from the Pro Wrestling Report. That coming up later tonight here on PrimeTime. So, folks, we'll be back on the other side of this brief timeout as PrimeTime continues here on My 24 Milwaukee and Fight TV.
When you're diamond shopping, variety is important. At Robert Hack Diamonds, we'll show you multiple diamonds side by side underneath the microscope and show you what to look for when buying a diamond. GIA graduate gemologists are on staff for expert diamond grading. Robert Hack has affordable prices on all diamonds, including diamonds certified by the GIA. Need a mounting for your diamond? Our selection is huge. Buy your diamonds today at Robert Hack Diamonds or visit roberthackdiamonds.com.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Hello, fans. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time here from Las Vegas, Nevada. Damian Nelson here in the PWR suite, well, the Frank Sinatra suite, actually, here at the Gold Coast Casino downstairs. On the convention floor is David Hero. As you saw earlier, bumped into Mean Gene Okerlund. And I hear that coming up in just a few minutes, he's got some Milwaukee wrestling legends that are going to appear for this for the first time, actually, here on PrimeTime. And you will be shocked at the faces he has found. He called me during the break and said he found them, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But, folks, the show continues here as we talk about this week in wrestling, and let's go forward with this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report. And big news coming out of TNA Wrestling as it has been disclosed that TNA is moving their headquarters in Nashville, Tennessee. The reports are conflicting as to why they either lost their lease, stopped having the availability to continue their lease, or decided to have some cost savings by moving into their warehouse. So TNA's offices are now going to be in their merchandise warehouse, which I understand is full of a lot of stuff that has been returned to them. This on top of the conversations that TNA Impact Wrestling is continuing to seek investors, as Panda Energy is no longer investing in the company. Panda Energy, Spike TV, their UK tours were really the big three revenue drivers for Impact Wrestling in the past. They don't have Spike TV. We hear that they're not being paid by Pop TV for the programming. By the way, Pop TV and TNA collectively deciding to move the replay of Impact Wrestling from Tuesday nights to Saturday nights, which probably isn't a bad thing, by the way. But they don't have revenues coming in from Pop TV, but they also don't have the only revenue they actually have still would be the money coming in from the UK tours and whatever merchandise they do sell and whatever other licensing they do have in their overseas television market. So whether or not the company can remain sustainable is arguable at this point, but what is for sure is we know Bobby Roode left. We know that James Storm left. We know, I'm sorry, we know that, yes, Bobby Roode left the company. Sorry, I'm excited about who David Hero's got coming up here on the show. We know there have been recent departures from the company. We know that pay has been to blame in some of those departures. We also know that they have tremendous talent down in TNA Impact Wrestling that are the people who will be the true victims if these rumors of the company's demise come to fruition. Now, we here at the Pro Wrestling Report, specifically me here at the Pro Wrestling Report, and I could speak for David in this case as well, we don't want to see TNA Impact Wrestling go away. We want Impact Wrestling to continue. But if they were to find a new investor, Jim Ross talked about this with Dave Meltzer on his podcast this week, that if they were to get a new investor, the TNA brand is damaged beyond repair. Impact Wrestling is damaged beyond repair, not because of the quality of what they're putting out there, but because of the challenges the company has had during its existence. They got to change the name. They got to become something else. Maybe they tried when they went to Impact Wrestling, but they've got to rebrand, relaunch, restart, refresh, and go forward with what the company is. Why is NXT so successful right now? You know NXT as a brand that will bring you pure wrestling. Why is WWE successful? You know it's a brand that will bring you the best wrestling entertainment, sports entertainment in the world today. What is TNA Wrestling as a brand? What does that brand mean to you? To me, it means that other show that you might get a chance to watch week to week that has some great talents on it that I wish I could invest in, but I have challenges doing so because of the inconsistency of the company. It's not the talent's fault at all. There's some great talents. As you know, the endorsed Rockstar Spud. You've got EC3. Of course, our dear friend Al Snow, who's been playing a more prominent TV role in the company. Drew Galloway. Some amazing talents in Impact Wrestling. The American Wolves. But the company, as it stands, needs to be able to sustain itself. And apparently, time is short on TNA Wrestling if they can't find an investor. An investor who is going to carry the company going forward. And rumors are that there are investors now who are assisting with keeping the company afloat. But somebody who's going to take ownership and take responsibility for the company going forward. Without that, it appears at this time, from what I am hearing, what we are hearing, that TNA is on short time. And hopefully that is not the case for all of us as wrestling fans. But folks, as we talked about earlier, David Hero's downstairs on the convention floor. And I'm getting word now from the producer here that he's ready. And David Hero has some very special guests that you are going to love seeing here on Milwaukee television because they are part of Milwaukee wrestling history. David, take it away.
Hey wrestling fans, it's me, Dave Hero, back at the Cauliflower Alley, and we have an exclusive. I'm going to give you, the Milwaukee wrestling fans, something you never thought you would see. Cameraman Zoom. Excuse me.
Yes, hello. Hi, how are you?
Carmine DeSpirito, you are being broadcast live back to Milwaukee.
Fantastic.
You know Milwaukee wrestling fans never thought they'd see us together like this. But hey, we even got the Skull Crusher, Rashi Brown, and it's my first Cauliflower Alley, and Carmine has been showing me the ropes. Carmine, tell me about Cauliflower.
Well, first of all, We want to send our best wishes to Milwaukee's favorite son, Frankie the Thumper DeFalco, who unfortunately couldn't be here this year. But yes, the Cauliflower Alley 51st year, David.
It's amazing. It's fantastic.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Look behind you.
Oh, I know.
You got the high flyers over here. You got Mo from Men on a Mission.
Larry the
Axe Hennig. Lance Russell in the distance. Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah,
it's just a great time.
It is the who's who. It is wrestling royalty here in Las Vegas.
It is.
And Rashi Brown.
And Rashi Brown, yes.
I'm above loyalty or royalty. Yes. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for showing me around. It's been great.
My
I love
pleasure.
it. This has been great.
Enjoy yourself.
And we got to throw it back to that other guy in the studio.
All right. Back to him.
Wow, David, you know, when you get a chance to focus and have a task, a goal, you can actually accomplish something. Carmine DeSpirito, Milwaukee wrestling legend, here on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. Carmine plays a huge role in putting together the Cauliflower Alley convention each and every year, and definitely appreciate him taking the time to appear here on this program. And, of course, the always popular Rashi Brown, who also has moved out west as of late, and a chance to reconnect with him here at the Cauliflower Alley Club in Las Vegas, Nevada. Folks, a lot more of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime here to come, still to come. As we said, big exclusive, first time ever, legendary, historic sit-down between Mean Gene Okerlund and Lance Russell. That coming up, as a matter of fact, just in a few moments after we take a time out here on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime on My 24 Milwaukee and Fight TV.
Hey everybody, I'm Sunny, the original diva of the WWE and 2011 WWE Hall of Famer, and you're watching Pro Wrestling Report on My 24.
Welcome back, fans, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time here on My 24 Milwaukee and Fight TV. Damian Nelson coming to you here from the Sinatra Suite, the Gold Coast Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, for the Cauliflower Alley Convention. What a night it's been so far. We've seen Mean Gene Okerlund at the top of the program. David Hero is downstairs on the convention floor. He just brought you Carmine DeSpirito and Rashi Brown, Milwaukee Wrestling Gold. And coming up in just a few moments, Mean Gene Okerlund sits down with Lance Russell for a one-of-a-kind, first of its kind interview exclusively here on the Pro Wrestling Report. But before that, folks, want to remind you here in the Event Center that Ring of Honor Wrestling returns to Milwaukee on June 12th. Tickets are available now at papstheater.org. If you haven't had a chance to see Ring of Honor Wrestling, especially at Turner Hall here in Milwaukee, be sure to take advantage of that opportunity. The last couple of shows Ring of Honor has had here have sold out, been standing room only. Tickets were not available the day of the show. We want to make sure you guys get in where you fit in. Go to papstheater.org and get your tickets now for Ring of Honor Wrestling. And with that, let's now go back down to the convention floor here at the Cauliflower Alley Club with our dear close personal friend, Mean Gene Okerlund, and his dear close personal friend, Lance Russell.
All right, Gene Okerlund here along with one of my heroes. Truly, people that have watched this great sport of professional wrestling evolve through the years. The name Lance Russell rings a bell. Lance, just great to be with you here at the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Right,
and
in
God, this is like
Gene Okerlund.
It's like old home week for you and I.
Oh, this is great.
Seeing some of these guys, I understand.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler is going to be showing up shortly to accompany you
tomorrow. Right.
I don't know if that means trouble or not for you and I. Lance, let's take a look at you and I. 45 years in the business for me this month. I've enjoyed all 45 years, but gosh, hasn't the business changed? Hasn't it evolved into something that we never thought it would?
And like a lot of things, I think, Gene, that is not necessarily for the better. I'm not making a comment on that, only to say that there's a couple of ways you can go in there, and sometimes.
Well, just because it's new and different doesn't mean it's going to be any better.
There you go. Tell it like it is. You the man.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say is the talent still is coming through the ranks.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of great young talent today, but man, I relish the old days of some of the great superstars from, a couple of decades, maybe 50 years ago.
Yeah, well, I didn't get to work with a lot of the guys that you worked with, and the same was true that there were guys.
I heard the Macho Man Randy Savage, though, was looking for you.
Oh.
You worked with him.
Yeah, I had some times with Macho, and we had one little run-in up in behind Rupp Arena when we were wrestling up there on every Thursday.
That's in Lexington?
In Lexington, and we pulled up in the car. Dave Brown, the first trip he had ever made on the road with me, was going up there. We stopped the van, parked it out there in the back where they had our place, got out of the van, and all of a sudden it was dark. And just about an hour before we got ready for the matches, and I hear this, "Hey, Russell, what's the next station you're going to get us thrown off of?" And they had gotten thrown off of a TV station. I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. Pretty hard to convince Macho.
As they say in the business, somebody's got to do the job, and you were the fall guy.
Yeah. Well,
you know what, Lance? Let's just do a little math here. How long ago did you initially break into announcing professional wrestling, and what had you done before? You had a radio background, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was a broadcaster, sports broadcaster. I started out broadcasting high school football with a guy named Jay Black.
Wow.
And pardon me, Jay and I worked together for a good long time for that high school down there. And that was the beginning of it. My wrestling started in Dayton, Ohio, where I wasn't broadcasting. I was ushering in an auditorium.
That sounds like a Howard Finkel deal to me. But
Is that what Howard did too?
Yeah. And you know what? That was up in New Haven, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I will say about Dayton was always a strong, mid-sized market that just loved wrestling.
Yes, they did. And that was the reason. That's where I got my love originally for wrestling, was there. Went down to the South, and when I got down to Memphis, Tennessee, where I started broadcasting there, the owner one day walked by me and said, "Hey, Russell, did you ever broadcast any wrestling?" I said, "No, but I love it, and there's no reason why I can't." He said, "Well, you better, because in 2 weeks we got live wrestling coming right here on this station."
Was it Saturday night?
It was Saturday night, exactly. And that was the way I got started in the broadcasting of wrestling.
And that's the way professional wrestling should be. I love live television. It gives you an opportunity to make mistakes, but also correct yourself. Most days they say, "Let's do cut 2." No cut 2s.
There you go.
Yeah. What are you doing with your time?
What a thrill this is.
What are you doing with your time these days?
I'm actually spending a lot of time. I live with my son. My wife passed away a couple of years ago, and so my son that lives in Pensacola asked me to move in with him, and I am taking advantage of that and going around.
A very generous offer.
Absolutely, I can't imagine. He said he always wondered what it was like to raise a boy. He's got 2 girls, 2 beautiful girls, and he says, "And now I got Lance Russell in the house."
Right.
So it's been a great experience, and so we're going around the country and do meet and greet kind of things, and it just. I can't get it out of my blood, Gene.
No, neither can I, whether I want to or not.
Oh, sure.
Somebody's going to ride the horse.
Yeah.
Coming up tomorrow night here at the Cauliflower Alley Club, a big ceremony of awards and so forth, and you're going to be honored for all of your announcing prowess and the things you've done through the years. And I think it's great because the industry is acknowledging the great career that Lance Russell has had. and you've been such a big part of it.
Well, let me tell you what, you were a big part of it, and you didn't know it, but that certainly is true. And your work was so great that it was inspirational to me, and I watched a lot of your stuff. I never live, but I enjoyed it, and you were certainly a great leader for me.
Well,
and Gordon Soley and Gino.
Another Minneapolis guy.
Yeah.
Right. Matter of fact, Soley was his mother's maiden name, so he had a last name that looked like an eye chart. You know that. It has been a great moment to sit down with this man who I respect, hero of mine. I think a lot of mutual admiration
Absolutely.
going on between us. But Lance Russell, my friend, nothing but good luck to you, and congratulations on the big award here at the Cauliflower Alley Club in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Thank you very much, Gene. I couldn't ask it from a nicer guy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gruber Law Offices, we understand that when you've been injured, life is tough. That's why we offer so many services for free. First call, free. First consultation, free. Stuck at home or in the hospital? We'll come to you for free. We'll deal with the insurance company for you and get you the help you need. Call Gruber Law Offices now. We don't get paid until you do, and your first consultation is always free.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Special Edition here from Las Vegas, Nevada at the Gold Coast Hotel and Casino for the Cauliflower Alley Club. And what a moment that was just before that timeout. Lance Russell, legendary wrestling broadcaster, sitting down with another legendary wrestling broadcaster, Mean Gene Okerlund. What stories those two told, and what history on the screen here from the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. Respect is the theme here at the Cauliflower Alley Club. As you know, Trish Stratus was honored here at the event. Jim Ross receiving a commemorative championship belt as well. WWE brass such as Pat Patterson here in attendance as well. And you saw Carmine showing you some of the other names of people who are downstairs here earlier tonight. Cauliflower Alley Club. It's PWR's first time being here, by the way, and we're going to make this an annual trip, an annual event here at the Gold Coast Casino, and bringing you all of the updates from the Cauliflower Alley Club. But with that said, let's get to this week's hot news, and unfortunately some sad news as we learned of the passing earlier this week of Balls Mahoney, formerly of ECW. Balls Mahoney passed away on Monday at the age of 44. He had suffered what was an apparent hip injury earlier in the weekend, and then was found dead in his home on Monday, again at the age of 44. Lots of people have spoken out about Balls Mahoney, and he was obviously an ECW original legend. And you remember the theme song. I can't repeat it here on television, but you remember the theme song, and definitely a lot of memories from Balls Mahoney. So our condolences go out to he and his family as well. Well, folks, Primetime continues here, and it is a segment some people, I still don't know who, look forward to on a weekly basis, and it is that is the spoken word of one David Hero. So let's go now down back to the casino floor with David Hero for this week's DWHS.
This week's DWHS is brought to you by Las Vegas. But hey, we are still here at Cauliflower Alley, or at least I am, still looking for that corporate Amex that Nelson was supposed to leave for me. But hey, it's all about patience in the world of professional wrestling. And that is exactly what I've learned while being here this week. Patience. Listen, wrestling fans, you complained you didn't get what you wanted at WrestleMania. You complained you got Roman Reigns. You complained it was Dean Ambrose losing to the Beast Brock Lesnar. But now look what you're getting. You're finally getting it. You got AJ Styles against Sami Zayn on Monday Night Raw. You got the Bullet Club showing up and putting the boots to the Usos. Your stars are on their way. It's a new generation coming. Shane McMahon is leading it, and all you had to do was wait. Wait a couple weeks, and you're finally getting it. So I guess that's a good thing. Patience. Not one of my superpowers, but it's working right now for pro wrestling all over the world. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
Well, David, once again, making all kinds of friends with our great fans out there. And with that, with his spoken word, this special edition of Primetime comes to a close. I want to thank everybody who's joined us here and everybody for the hospitality here this week at the Cauliflower Alley Club. What an amazing week it has been, coming off the heels of WrestleMania and then into this legendary event. PWR very proud to be a part of it. And as I said, we'll be here with you again next year, this annual event, the Cauliflower Alley Club in Las Vegas, Nevada. Folks, next week we've got a brand new edition of Primetime. Feedback Friday returns. We'll be back in our studios in Milwaukee as well. So until then, for David Hero here in Las Vegas, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in 1 week's time for the return of Feedback Friday and also an all-new Primetime next week right here on My 24 Milwaukee and Fight TV.